Hey, what is going on, chat? Hope you guys are having a beautiful Monday. It's going to be our political live streams as we always do. This one we're going to be doing a stream over multi-level marketing companies. Hey, what's going on, Garnet? What's up, man? Welcome in. Everybody welcome in. Hope you guys are having a great day. Before we get started with today's stream, it's going to be a quick disclaimer. So this is an 18 plus stream, 18 plus channel. If you were here under the age of 18, ensure that you have your parent and or guardian's permission to be here. If you don't, I'll have to ask you to leave the stream. Appreciate it, guys. We want to make sure that our children are protected. All right. So, I have here Gladys over from MLM Exit. You can find her on quite a few different platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. She's everywhere. She even has her own website. So if you guys want to check her out, at MLM Exit, capital M, capital L, capital M, and then capital E, and then Zit. So, yeah, be sure to check her out. I'll be sure to grab her link down below. I'm pretty sure she'll have her other socials attached in her bio. So let us let me get that link for you guys so that I can make sure you guys can go and follow her as well. So let's see. And like I said, she has a website for those of you who are leaving MLMs and you might be needing some help with whatever it is that you're going through with leaving that MLM. Be sure to check out her webpage. She's got a lot of like mental health stuff that you guys can check out. So, MLM or Gladys, MLM Exit. She's pretty awesome. She's pretty awesome. So shout out to her and um, big things to her for helping us out on this end. Even though she's not a victim of an MLM, she is still a massive voice for all of us, and it's definitely really appreciate to have you here, Gladys, again. Appreciate you coming on. All right, so I want to make sure that we have um, everything good to go. So Gladys, can you give me a quick sound check? Oh, you're super quiet. Okay, for what okay, so for whatever reason, try to give me another sound check real quick. I want to make sure that we even have the right audio here. Okay, all right. So I don't know why that audio is not the right one. That's weird. So I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that. Um. Okay. I think that might be the right one. Try to give me another sound check. Hmm. Okay, maybe I have to turn you up quite a bit. Try to give me another one here. Probably should. Okay, so oh boy, I don't know why the audio's not audioing. Uh, no, that shouldn't be an issue. I just want to know why the audio's not coming through the right spot. Because I've it should be coming through the desktop, but it's not. Sorry guys, bear with me. I'm not really prepared for today. As you guys can see. Here, hang on. Make sure. I can hear you.
connection of friends and family that were fundamental to starting and building a business. They were the
Oh, maybe I have to. Uh, hang on. I'm not even getting any sound from my. What is going on, man? Like I'm not even getting any sound from the
determine whether the model is sustained. And I think the big question is whether it's sustained by retail sales or whether it's sustained
Oh,
through
okay.
internal
Okay.
participant spending.
It's
So that's
but
buying
it's not going through my
products to sell,
headphones.
buying products to use,
Okay, there we
spending
go.
on trainings and conferences that all benefit
Okay.
and sustain the MLM.
Okay. All right, cool. There we go. All right, now Glass can give me another sound check.
That's 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Oh, he's saying that they're super loud.
Yeah. So
That's good.
let's turn that
Thank you.
down quite a bit. I've had to. I don't think I'm going to be playing any more Ground Branch because Ground Branch really threw all of my audio off. So
But not necessarily the participants.
okay.
Then this is an area where life after MLM
Thank
really
you,
hasn't been covered a lot in
Garden,
the
for being
academic
our
literature. So what
sound
happens
check
after people
Yeah, our
leave
guy.
sound guy.
MLM? So follow-up surveys, in-depth interviews with former participants can identify the personal and social costs of participating and, as Sydney mentioned, potentially some of the benefits that
All right. Let's
people
see.
perceive they got out of it too. So we can
Cool. You can hear her now. Awesome. Awesome. Want to make sure that seems like the audio is coming out through the right place. Is
kind
the
of
video
weigh up
still too
this
loud?
evidence. This can also show where support may
I
be
think we could
needed
probably
and
turn it
help
up
reduce
just a
stigma
little bit.
of people who do leave. Might also encourage other people to speak up. And of course, why
Is it still pretty loud for you guys?
do some people return? You know, is this because of positive experiences? Using surveys, again, a lot of this research we're talking about here is comparative. So it's in this case, we're
support has proudly supported this conference for all 6 years of its existence. And I want to acknowledge the leadership behind this conference, Dr. Keep.
No, but I
Our
think you
relationship
need to
with Bill
scroll
goes.
down.
Huh?
It's the 5th video scrolling down.
Oh, it's the fifth video? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. To tad under your voice, so should be good as long as you pause to talk. It's a tad under my voice. Uh oh. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Monica Vaca?
Yeah,
Vacant?
Monica Vaca and yeah, Monica Vaca and Douglas Brooks. They're both lawyers.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Cool.
and they go over the contract clauses.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so chat is saying you are a little quiet compared to, but I mean, her voice is pretty soft, so that's probably why. All right, let's get
Oh,
her a little bit louder there.
oh, we're gonna get loud. We're just getting started.
All right. Okay. All right. Want to make sure that we are good to go there. All right. How's that? Is she a lot better now? All right. Let's see. Let's
The Federal Trade Commission. She was the deputy director of the Bureau of Consumer Protection, worked on a full range of matters, including
nice.
fraud, uh,
Yes.
fraud to privacy violations, investigations in cases against lenders, business opportunity.
Okay, so I've got this at full volume here. Should be good across. Should be good. Want to make sure that it is good. So,
Sellers, telemarketers, online scams, and payment processors. She has since
okay.
left the FTC, and she is a founding partner of
All right. Give me one last sound check.
1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I know I said that before, but one last one.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right. So a little loud there. So we're gonna bump you back down. All right. So should be good. Gladys, do you want to go ahead and talk a little bit how you've how you got into the whole MLM thing?
So I just bumped into anti-MLM content a few years ago, and I think what happened to me, it happens like to a lot of people that we know about MLMs, but we believe that they're not harmful and they're just people trying to sell products, right?
Right.
From door to door. So when I discovered the anti-MLM content, I was like, whoa. I went down a rabbit hole and I was like, whoa, this is worse than I thought. So that's when I started like learning about a lot of things, and then a few years later I started creating content. So
Okay.
to keep it short.
Well, we're definitely glad that you're doing what you're doing for sure. You know, every bit helps, and it pays off to have a spicy Latina just pop off at shit that needs to be popped off. You know.
Thank you.
So it's definitely. Hey, look, it's her words too. Not mine. I don't call her a spicy. She calls herself a spicy Latina. So
Yeah.
don't jump on my ass,
I
guys.
mean, it is true. I'm spicy and I'm Latina, so I'm just, what can I say?
It's very true. All right, so it seems like
Dauphin
the audio
Law.
is
I'll let you go ahead, Monk.
all right. Yep, seems like the audio is all good. Okay, so now we can get into this. All right. Oh. All right, let's get going. All right, so for those of you who may not know what's going on here, um, there is a annual MLM conference. Is what this is, multi-level marketing. Okay, and it's to spread awareness on news in the industry, what all is going on, what all is happening, what even are MLMs, right? And they'll also have influencers come in, such as Gladys. Gladys is one of the ones that spoke at the previous MLM conference. So it's run by a guy who is also a victim of an MLM, and I forget his name, but he's been holding these conferences annually, and so I actually would like to say that I had the privilege to attend one of these conferences where Gladys was speaking at. So um, it's good to spread awareness for these things because people need to know what multi-level marketing companies are. Everybody, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but most people know what pyramid schemes are, Ponzi scheme. Well, I mean, well, they get Ponzi and pyramid schemes mixed up a lot of the time, but a lot of people do know what pyramid schemes are. However, these companies have done such a good job at rebranding themselves into a multi-level marketing company that a lot of people don't know that what MLMs are pyramid schemes, right? So, but that's what we're talking about today. There was a section that I had missed from this year's MLM conference, and we're gonna be doing a little bit of a series uh, here and there, and I'll have Gladys back with me live. Um, but there's a section that I missed, and that's what we're going to be reacting to today. Is one of those sections. Gladys told me that there were a couple really good good presentations that that's going to be pretty good to take a look at. But we'll be reacting to she recommended this first, so we're gonna get into that. All right. So before I hit play, Gladys, is there anything that you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it is our opinion the MLMs are pyramid schemes. And
Well, there's data that
yeah, the
backs it
reason,
up. So,
yeah, I mean,
but just so I don't get sued by
just,
some petty motherfuckers out there, um,
yeah, it
everything
is our opinion.
everything that we say is our opinion. All right. Not making any accusations or anything because, I don't want to get sued. But, yeah. So, anyways, there's evidence to back it up. Look at John Taylor. John Taylor has done a a lawsuit, something like that. But there is a case, John Taylor v. Amway or something.
Study. No,
Yeah, the
okay,
study. There we go.
it's a case study that John Taylor did where I think it took him like 15 years. He went over the documents of, I think, over 300 MLMs, and
Hmm.
he found that all of them, the ones that and he provides the list of all the MLMs that he studied. And for all of them, the numbers are pretty similar. Pretty similar that the majority of people lose money.
Yeah.
The study is out there.
99%.
99 point, yeah. It's it's in the 99 96 99%,
Yeah,
like the majority
it's
of
in the
MLMs.
Germex. It's in the Germex range.
Yeah.
So,
And I just thought that this presentation was important because I think it's important for MLM reps to know what they're signing because
mhm,
whenever they join, it just they just say, "Oh no, just agree to the terms and conditions or whatever." It's just protocol. Just protocol. Nothing serious. Well, it is serious, and we're gonna talk about it so that people are aware what they're signing when
yep.
they join an MLM.
Yep, that's something that I wish was told to me because if they told me or I mean, I could have, read all the way through too, but had someone told me that hey, this might not be in your best interest and this is why, look at these points here and here, I more than likely wouldn't have done that, right? Because and that was what, $200 down the drain, right? And then even more so after, you know getting into the business, right? So yeah, yeah, they don't really tell you these things, so that's what we're gonna be going over here, right? Okay.
Okay, I guess we'll get started.
Takes a little bit,
So it's
like a little intro,
the mic's
and
on,
then it
everyone.
starts.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Monica Vaca for
Can you
this
guys
next
hear it?
session. Monica
'Cause I don't hear
has
it.
a 23-year-old, or
Oh,
23.
sorry, I gotta get the playback for you here. Forgot to set that up for you. All right, you should be good now.
3 years of experience at the Federal Trade Commission. She was the deputy director of the Bureau of Consumer Protection, worked on a full range of matters,
We're
and
professionals
including
here.
Oh yeah, yeah,
fraud,
absolutely
uh,
professionals.
fraud to privacy violations, investigations in cases against lenders, business opportunity sellers, telemarketers, online scams, and payment processors. She has since left the FTC, and she is a founding partner of Vaca Dauphin Law. I'll let you go ahead, Monica.
Thank you, Bill. Such a pleasure to be here today. Okay. All right. I think we are all set. So, welcome everybody. Joining me today is Doug Brooks. Doug really does not need any introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. He has spent 40 years litigating all kinds of cases, class action cases nationwide, including matters involving multi-level marketing companies, franchise dealerships and product distribution, as well as securities, antitrust, and consumer protection class actions. He is my personal hero because of his work litigating the Webster versus Omnitrition case, which of course garnered the fantastic opinion from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that I really loved to cite when I was working at the FTC. Welcome, Doug.
Oh, thank you, Monica.
Today we're going to be talking about contracts and the wall of words, as I like to think of it, the wall of words that hits participants when they first join. The contracts control the relationship, and each of these clauses in the contract are there for a reason. So we're going to talk today about what those contracts and what those clauses mean to consumers. All right. So we're looking at this from the consumer protection perspective here, and all of the things that we've seen in our experience bringing cases against MLM companies. So we're going to show you some exemplars of these, what they look like, and talk about how they play out. So the way that we're organizing the presentation today is we're going to talk about the clauses that keep MLM participants off balance, the clauses that keep people from leaving the MLM, and then the clauses that keep people from suing the MLM.
I was just
All
about to
right,
say
let's
that.
get started. We're going to dive in.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say, oh yeah. These are the clauses that keep these extortionists or extortionist companies from being sued into oblivion. That's what I was about to say. And well, she said it for me, so I don't have to.
So let's first zoom out to the big picture, Doug. So tell me a little bit about this. Who writes the contract?
Inevitably, it's the MLM company, and when we were in law school, at least many years ago,
Okay, yo, quick question real quick. So why is it that the MLM is writing these contracts? Why don't they have a third party do it? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Because I
Wish I
mean,
have an answer.
if that would really bring into that would question the motive of
Mm-hmm. Great.
the transaction, right? Because obviously
Mm-hmm.
there's a transaction that's happening between the contractor and the contractee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not just have a third party deal with the legalese of writing up these contracts and then informing both parties of what they mean, right? And go line by
Mm-hmm.
line. Well, I mean, we all know why, right?
Yeah.
But it's just to bring up the question to kind of spark that thought. Oh, okay, that's probably why they're not having a third party do this, and it brings into question the um, character of the multi-level marketing company, right? So just wanted to kind of ask that question, see maybe you guys might know, right? Maybe you guys might have a little bit more understanding of how well, the legal side of this works. But it's just something that kind of just stood out to me as he was talking, that maybe there's or I actually not maybe, but potentially very high potential of a conflict of interest when it comes to them specifically writing up their own contracts instead of having a third party do it, or even having a third party check it. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that if MLM needs it to be fair, which is already too much to ask for them, right? they would have a third party write it, but of course, being fair is not one of their interests.
Right. Right. Could you imagine a third party going over going over the audio stuff? Oh God. Oh, dude. An alarm would sound really quickly. Oh man. But yeah, just something that I wanted to bring up. All right.
Some cases, a contract was a bargain for exchange of consideration. There's no bargaining here. There's no exchange of consideration. This is a sign it or leave it proposition by the MLM company. And every clause in the contract has been litigation tested, often in franchising cases. This represents decades of work by lawyers over and over again, and the the consumers who are signing these contracts and then now advancing from consumer to independent contractor have no clue as to what they're getting into. Typically, when things were still done in print, the contract might look like it's a page and a half long, fairly basic stuff. But there's always a clause in there that said the policies and procedures and the marketing, the compensation plan are incorporated by reference. That makes them part of the contract. And if you go to those documents, you end up with 80, 100, 120 pages of fine print, of, as I say, these litigation tested clauses. Now we have these click-through contracts, so people don't even have a concept of how many, what they're getting into when they sign it. And there's certainly no negotiation. But that's the overview, and I've probably gone on too long. So
No.
just stop me if I.
No, I would never do that, but that's super helpful. Well, let's go ahead and we can dive into some of the specifics. So we're going to start with the first set of things that we talked about, the clauses that keep.
I think even in quite a few of the clauses, they specifically mention no negotiations. If I remember correctly, there was a lawsuit, right, against what was it, Cincy, I think, and they were going through the arbitration clause, where
Oh yeah, they're gonna be talking about the arbitration section of the contract. Yeah, they're gonna talk about that a little later. Mhm.
okay, yeah, I just remember that there was an arbitration clause which was pretty much uh, don't say anything, don't ask us any questions, and you go on about your day, little plebeian. It's pretty much what that says, in my humble opinion. But I, I don't know anything about business, right?
Keep MLM participants off balance. So there are three things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about clauses that make participants independent contractors, clauses about required purchases, and clauses about unilateral changes to policies and procedures. Okay, so these are all the things that when you are active in the MLM has a real impact on how you're proceeding through your business. Okay. All right. So first off, we're going to talk about independent contractor status. Bill.
Yeah. So what's an independent contractor? You're a business person. You're not and you're not an employee. That means that you don't get the protections of an employee. You don't get minimum wage. You don't get all of the legal protections against wrongful conduct by the employer. So you don't get those protections as the consumer signing these things. Also, it means that the company it doesn't want to take responsibility for what you do. So they always want to be able to say, well, that's an independent contractor. So when you see some of the earnings claims that we've been seeing today, um, the preferred response of MLM companies has always been, oh, we are shocked to find that our distributor is violating our procedures and making these claims, but they are an independent contractor and we will discipline them, but we have no control, no power to stop them from doing that. So that's the other side of the independent contractor thing. The other thing that's interesting about this clause is you're not a franchisee.
I was just going
and
to ask about that.
Because franchisees are entitled to receive a disclosure statement before they become a franchise of the company. MLM companies desperately want to avoid any kind of pre-sale disclosure. And we've heard Stacy and we've heard other folks this morning talk about the importance of those disclosures and the impact they have on people in lowering expectations and in bringing them back to earth in terms of what they can reasonably expect from being in business. So that little phrase independent contractor packs a lot of punch in this relationship.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one. So,
All right. Third party clause cannot accurately address. Okay, accurately. Okay, got it. Commissions, overrides, and bonuses flow through the specific multi-tier downline. Okay. Contracts and policies procedures are heavily written by company lawyers. Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so where I was arguing from was a perspective of transparency, right? Where there is a middleman between contractor and contractee. That's all that I was saying, right? Um, and having to deal with the legalese of both sides, right, to protect both parties involved, right? So, um, that uh that I think is something that really should be pursued, right? Something that really should be talked about. So, but then again, if there was some kind of third party that is involved, then, you know, it would really bring into question, okay, maybe this isn't the best pursuit for me, right? To favor the corporate entity, they include clauses that allow the company to change compensation structures. Oh, okay. Ah, yeah, pretty much. That's all correct. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, that's some of the reasons to not go for third party on their end. Yes, yes, which is why I brought it up, right? Because if the contractor knew, right, through the third party what they were actually getting into, because then that's exactly what would happen if a third party was going through all of these clauses, right? Then they wouldn't have that business, because their business relies on the, let's just say, the ignorance of the contractor, right? So yeah, that's why they don't do it. Glass, you want to jump in here? I think your mic cut out, Glass.
Oh, I was saying that I don't have any comments.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, well, let's move on. Good observation, Garden. Good observation, bud.
so the second quote that I've got up here refers to required purchases. And I'm just going to read out the quote first. I understand that commissions, bonuses, or other compensation earned by me as a participant, compensation, and rank advancement are based solely upon the successful sale of MLM products and or services to customers, and that I am not required to purchase any MLM products and or services. Okay, so what does this refer to? So this refers to the set of goals that participants need to achieve in order to move forward, to advance, to be promoted in the MLM system. Typically, advancement is tied to how much product the participant and their downline are able to take on, often on a monthly basis. And this is where a lot of the economic harm happens. And that's what Tracy was just talking about earlier. Remember the pink Cadillacs? But if you look at this clause, you might be a little confused because it seems to say there are no required purchases needed in order to advance. But let's take a look a little bit more closely here. What does the sale of products to customers mean? Does it mean that a sale is only to customers outside the MLM network? Or does it mean any sale of products? Well, if you, as a participant, buy the product to qualify for a reward, does the company count that as a sale? Well, probably it does. In my experience, MLM companies tell law enforcers that these sales, quote unquote, sales to distributors are in fact legitimate sales for personal consumption. Why does this matter? Because in practice, the required sales to qualify for rewards can mean the same thing as required purchases. So it is actually the very same thing. All right, let's move on to the next one. Unilateral changes to contracts. Bill, what gives with the unilateral changes?
This is again a borrowing from the franchise world, because you very often see these types of clauses in franchise agreements. Essentially, what it does is it puts the distributor at the mercy of the company, because you sign a contract, and assuming you've even read it, and next week or next month or next year, the company can change any aspect of the contract. They can change the compensation plan, the thing that draw you to this relationship in the first place. It is and in my mind, it questions whether we even have a contract here, because if it gives one side the power to change anything in the contract, what are we really talking about? Unfortunately, there's law that says all the company has to do is give people notice and an opportunity to leave, and that's enough consideration to make this a contract. I think that's a horrendous situation, but that's what we
It's
deal
beyond
with.
horrendous.
And that's, again, going back to this independent contractor thing. People aren't being treated as consumers.
Can you
Consumers
pause
get a
it?
little bit more protection.
I want to say
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
I want to give an example that happened recently, and the reason why Sensi is crumbling as it's crumbling. So this is what happened. A lot of the Sensi consultants, whenever they signed the contract, there was this thing in the contract that said that they were going to have a certain percentage of commissions for life. We're talking about for life, okay? So what ended up happening, I think it was earlier last year, which is since he started crumbling, and I talk about this in my first Sensi video, that they took that part. Oh, they say, oh no, it's no longer for life. Can you imagine how pissed the Sensi consultants were? They were so pissed. But that's not all. So they notified them about this change, but check how tricky they were. And this is based on people that that went into my DMs and told me. They said that like around tax time, it's when they made the changes, and they only gave them a certain amount of time decision or not. And if they didn't make the decision, then they will be out. They will no longer have like access to their back office and everything. And there was this girl that reached out to me and she said, I didn't want to agree to that new terms and conditions that they had, but I had to. I felt forced to because I had to access my back office in order to get my tax information because it was already tax season. And if I didn't um, send over my tax information, then I was going to be screwed even more, you know? So
Right.
it was so freaking sneaky. And that's when, like, a lot of consultants, like, they were so, and that's one of the things that if you check the lawsuit, it says breach of contract. They're talking about that commission that was supposed to be for life. That was no longer for life, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, which is a massive breach of contract. Massive.
so I just wanted to give an example, a real example of that these MLMs do change the contract whenever they want, and they just don't give a fuck about reps.
True. True. You know, and it's it's really unfortunate that a lot of the reps don't really see what's going on around them because they're so brainwashed. Um, but uh, all the more reason to, you know, whatever contract you are looking at and signing, ensure that you read it all the way through. And I'm not blaming reps or anything like that. Um, but if there's any uh, anything you can do on your end is to absolutely read and try your best to understand what is being said in these contracts, right? Contracts. Let's say that as a loose term because it's not really a contract. It's just pretty much just a sheet of paper of them saying, "Hey, look, you go and be a slave for us, and literally a slave for us, and um, we will do whatever we want with you, and yeah, you're not going to say anything about it. You're not going to do anything about it, and shut up and call it." That's pretty much it, right? So, um, one thing I wish I had paid attention to were the people around me as they were going through all of the quote unquote paperwork to be a part of the business, right? Um, so you you have to you really have to put on that thinking cap and really be like, especially when it comes to business, you really have to ask yourself, hey, um, what's the short term? What's the long term? What's that looking like for me, right? Is there a real potential here? And can I trust these people around me, right? And you really want to know as much as you can, as much as you can, about everything, right? Because this is legal here, right? All of this is legal, right? And so when it comes to legalese, you want to make sure that you have a really good understanding of what is happening. Because I think even some people um who have left MLM, I think they've had some trouble with getting sued themselves, right, for the arbitration stuff.
Yes, they're also going to talk about MLM suing consultants a little bit later. Yes.
Okay, okay, yeah. So there's quite a bit of you know there's problems there, a lot of problems. So just make sure you're reading stuff through, and um, hopefully by whatever we're doing here, we're able to spread some kind of awareness, right? Because these people are slick. They're very slick.
From these one-sided contracts. But once you become an independent contractor, most judges are going to treat you like a businessman, even though you've invested $500 and this is a $5 million company. The difference in scale and the difference in power doesn't change the enforceability of these contracts.
And so this is keeping people off balance because they don't know what they can expect necessarily, and because the rules can shift right under their feet. Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on now to clauses that keep people from leaving the MLM. So we're going to talk about 3 types of clauses. The first is the non-compete and non-solicitation clauses. The second will be refund policies that require people to leave to get the refund. I'll explain that. And then the third is gag clauses and non-disclosure agreements. So let's get started with the first one of those. All right. So let's see, let's advance the slide. Okay, during the term of my distributorship and for 1 year thereafter, neither my spouse nor I will directly or indirectly, through or by means of any person, entity, or artifice, solicit, promote, sponsor, or recruit any MLM company distributor or any customer of the MLM company of whom I became aware in the course of my MLM company distributorship to join, promote, sell, or purchase products of, or participate in as a salesperson or otherwise in any multi-level marketing or direct sales company. And I will not encourage anyone to do what I have agreed not to do. By the way, I'm not making any of these up. Okay, these are real examples. Okay, Doug.
There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
So let me make a couple of points. One is that this clause magically transforms your own list of people that you contacted, that you found, into the company's property. And there are other clauses that typically are found that emphasize this point. But if you leave that company and then you solicit someone that you knew before you even heard of this company, you're violating this clause. You're breaching the contract and subjecting yourself to liability. Another thing that you find here, which I find really fascinating, is that this is not limited to the type of business that you're in. Let's say you're in an MLM that sells facial goop or whatever, some cosmetic product. And then you leave this company and you join an MLM that sells courses to engage in cryptocurrency. You're violating this contract. There's no competition between these companies. There's no, but the real competition is not for the product, it's for the distributor. The real market that these companies are engaged in is selling a business opportunity. And for that purpose, it doesn't matter what the product is. What matters is the person's susceptibility to the pitch of an MLM claim.
That was put so beautifully. So beautifully. That's exactly what it says. It's exactly what it says. You cannot join any other MLM, right? And what I would be concerned about is, since they can change, let's just say what Garden said earlier and what you Gladys said earlier, right? About being able to change contracts. What I would be concerned about is that 1 year, right, being changed to forever, essentially, right? And if that's the case, right, I mean, not that they, if and when they leave, not that they would really join another one, right? Which hopefully, for those of you who have been in MLMs, that you don't join another one, right? Because you've understood now what MLMs actually are, right? In definition and in practice. But um, others, right, that have been through the same thing and unfortunately have been roped into many other MLMs because of some trauma that they've had in their life where they're seeking some kind of acceptance or right some kind of situation. I've heard a lot of these situations of many people have popped in and said they've joined for basically a means to fit in, maybe a woman or a man or whatever, right? They've joined not necessarily because of a financial situation, right, or looking to
Mm-hmm.
get out of a financial situation. Um, they're doing it for other means, a means to belong somewhere, a means to not be alone, right? And that is the that is what is most dangerous about these MLMs to begin with. And if these MLMs are going to trap people in the rest of their lives, right? Who's to say that they can't just flip a script and just say that you can't talk about any other MLMs, right? And just add that in there, right? From and switch from what promote, sponsor, recruit to um let's just say uh speak out against any other MLMs or this MLM, right? And then change that to whatever, right? Because I mean, we're talking about situations where if they're going to change one thing, right, and if they have the ability to change one thing, because it's the MLM who are writing this, then they could change any of these clauses to whatever they want.
Well, they already have. They already have the majority of the MLM contracts. They already have what do they call it? No disparagement or something like that. That they will also talk about that in the video that prevents consultants from talking bad about the MLM company.
Right. Right. So I guess we'll get to that here in a little bit, but
Mhm.
I just wanted to point that out. That is what would really concern me. And just being able to change something like that so easily. And then a lot of consultants who have woken up, they're trapped, right? A legal entrapment. That's what I would be most concerned about.
Yeah, that's such a tell. That's such a tell. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. All right, let's talk now about refund policies that require
100%.
people
Yeah.
to leave in order to get the refund. And what I've got up here on the screen is it's not a quote from any contract. This is an allegation in the FTC's complaint against Herbalife.
Oh,
Paragraph 73, and I'm just going to read it through.
not Herbalife.
Although defendants have a buyback policy so the buyback policy is the refund policy. In order to take advantage of the policy, a distributor must resign his distributorship. Many distributors have been unaware of the policy or for various reasons have been reluctant to attempt to use it. Okay, why does that matter? Well, so in the frenzy to qualify for MLM bonuses, and promotion, people can start to excessively purchase training, conference attendance, and inventory that the participant cannot sell. An inventory buyback policy sounds great, but what participants may discover is that it's not so easy to take advantage of the buyback policy for a number of reasons, and they have to make a big decision if they do want to take advantage of it. They have to get out of the program altogether. And choosing to get out of the program altogether basically means that they are choosing to no longer try to make it in this business. They're choosing to walk away from the investment that they've made in all of those conferences and training programs that they've already paid for. And frequently, it also means upsetting their upline. So the people who uh, have benefited from the inventory purchases that have been made are not going to be very happy when they have to, when, maybe their bonuses or their rewards are clawed back because of the fact that somebody
Exactly.
requested a buyback. So these tend to apply community pressure on
Mhm.
the participant. Many people face, kind of social excommunication is how one person put it. And I think that's really apt because frequently when you're in these MLM companies, everybody is become sort of a friend or a family member to you. Uh, okay, so that's the one thing. The second thing I'm just going to point out is that sometimes just
Okay,
the
can
mere
you pause
existence of
it?
these policies.
Yeah.
So I want to make 2 points here. And that's the reason why you see that a lot of MLMs, when they, a lot of MLM reps, when they pitch the opportunity, they say, "Oh, our refund percentage is 1%," like implying that rarely people want to get refunds. No, they don't want to get refunds because you make it so freaking difficult to get a freaking refund. That's why people, they're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't want to go through all that bullshit. I just keep my money, whatever. That's why it's important to the people know that that's the reason why the MLM reps say, "Oh, we have a 1% refund percentage." So a lot of our clients, they like a product. No, it's not necessarily that. They don't want to go through the hassle of getting a refund because they already know it's a fucking hassle. And another thing, something that the uplines do not tell downlines when it comes to refunds or when it comes to quitting is that the moment that the downline quits, whatever commission the upline was going to get, she was saying, it is taken back. So of course, when you go to your upline and you say, you know what, this is not working for me, blah blah, blah, I think I might want to leave. They're the first ones to say no, 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 no. You need to think about it. Remember your why, whatever, because their interest is not for you. Their interest is because they know that if you leave, whatever commissions they were going to get from you, they're going to be taken back.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not like they make a um a life-saving amount of money off of that commission anyways, right? Because they're just going to be spending that money that they made on training, uh, more inventory for their dittos and whatnot, right? So, but it's the for what I want to talk about is the community aspect of it all, right? Um, and as she was talking, I was coming to, I was gonna say exactly the same thing that she just said, right? Whenever you express some kind of negativity, right? They call it negativity, right? At that moment, you have essentially the mask comes off, right? The mask comes off. Oh, no, 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 no! You gotta stay positive. You gotta stay
Mm-hmm.
positive. Don't leave the
Mm-hmm.
negativity out at the door. And as soon as you go a little bit further with it, right, and you just say, you know what, I don't think this is for me. I just want to go. Then they really do begin to turn on you. The dangerous part about this is these people are trained to be narcissists, right? Um, because they isolate you. They isolate you against your friends, family, even loved ones, right? Romantic partners, right? They isolate you to control you, right? Yeah, leave your negativity and don't come to me with logic. Come to me with emotions. I want to manipulate you. That's when I want to manipulate you so I can keep my commission good. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on, right? Um, but what is damaging is the the effect of the psychology of it, right? When you have a a group of people, right? Or maybe a smaller group of people, larger group of people that continuously love bomb you, right? They manipulate you in that way, and then you stop doing what they want you to do, and they switch on you, right? And they attack you, and they mock you, and they disassociate themselves from you, and excommunicate you. That that really messes with a bunch of people, right? And I mean, rightfully so. That's why a lot of people are so desperate to find a, a group belonging, right? And they end up finding themselves in another MLM. So they don't dare to ask uh, on anything on behalf of themselves, right? Even something as simple as a refund. A refund should be simple, right? But when you have a company that solely gets its income off of you, obviously they want to make sure they have absolute control of you. And any situation that they don't have that control over you, right, is going to be the exact situation that you're going to see a very different side than what they showed you to get you back in, or to rope you into this scam, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about there. That is the most damaging part about it, because money, you can, well, I mean, this economy that we're in is pretty rough for everyone here, right? It's rough, and it's only getting worse. But the money thing isn't necessarily as damaging as the cycle as the psychology, right? The mental trauma that you're gonna have to deal with, right? So, Gladys, what else did you want to point out? Because you said two things.
No, that was it. That was the only thing. That
Oh,
that they claim that, oh, our company is so good that 1% of people request refunds, and the other one was the refunds that the uplines um don't want the downlines to get because they know that it's going to be coming out of their pockets.
right, yeah,
Those were the two things.
yeah. No, okay, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Policies, these buyback policies can actually make it easier for recruiters to tell you that this is a risk-free endeavor. And what you find out when you really try to exercise your refund rights is that it's really hard to do that. And it's not risk-free at all. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so I'll just read it out. The agreement is breached if the participant is found to be, quote, engaging in conduct that may bring disrepute in any way to the MLM company or any of its officers, agents, or employees, the nutritional supplement and personal care products industry, or the direct sales industry. Doug?
Mm,
In other
the direct
words,
sales
when
industry.
you leave or drop out of the company, don't go on social media and complain about it, because you'll be breaching this clause, and they can sue you, and they will sue you, and they do sue you. IML, for instance, I checked a while back, it was at least 6 or 7 lawsuits that they filed against former distributors who had violated this type of clause. I don't know if this is IML's clause, but similar things are found in every one of these contracts. So the companies have learned, again, this is one of these litigation tested things. They've learned that they need to gag former distributors because social media has become such a potent force in getting the truth out about MLM. And there's no one better, as Tracy demonstrated to us, than a former distributor to tell you the truth about what this opportunity is.
This is an absolute violation of the distributor's First Amendment rights. Absolute violation, right?
Yes.
And
Did,
I want you guys to
did you see
know
what I
that
sent
there
you?
is, huh?
Did you see what I sent you?
No, I
I want to
didn't.
talk about that. I sent it in the chat.
Okay.
This is this is something that I share very often with a lot of MLM reps because they're not aware of the Consumer Review Fairness Act. The Consumer Review Fairness Act protects people's ability to share their honest opinions about a business product, service, or conduct in any form, including social media. So, in case you want to share it later, even though they have that power with the clauses in that MLM contract, they're pretty much telling them you cannot share your experience. Yes, you can. They have the Consumer Review Fairness Act that allows them to do it as long as they're sharing happened to them, their own experience. And if they didn't like the product, they can say, I didn't like the product or I didn't like the experience, whatever the case may be.
Mhm. Well, let's take a look at this act here. All right. So the Consumer Review Fairness Act, what businesses need to know. The Consumer Review Fairness Act, CRFA, protects people's ability to share their honest opinions about a business's products, services, or conduct in any form, including social media. Uh, is your company complying? Okay, so this is this is an article from the FTC here. All right, contracts that prohibit honest reviews or threaten legal action over them harm people who rely on reviews when making their purchase decisions. But another group, hang on, that prohibit or threaten. Okay, this is they need to work on that sentence. But another group is also uh, harmed when others try to squelch honest negative reviews. Businesses that work hard to earn positive reviews. The Consumer Review Fairness Act was passed in response to reports that some businesses try to prevent people from giving honest reviews about products or services they received. Some companies put contract provisions in place, including their online terms and conditions, that allowed them to sue or penalize consumers for posting negative reviews. Here are some basic tips for complying with the law. Okay, so this is more for the companies, right? Okay, so yeah, so this is to protect anyone, right, who are potentially posting negative reviews about a specific company. So this is an absolute thing, right? So sounds like MLM is more of a suing company than an actual distribute. Yeah. Well, no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. They distribute these lawsuits. That's what they're. That's what they're doing. So they're distributing these papers. That's what they're doing. So yeah, they're in the business of extorting people, right? Which is why I never got any of my stuff back, right? I never got a refund on my almost $300 that I spent, right, on stuff that I didn't even need, that I was told in a way that would literally cure my grandmother's diabetes. Um, they legit told me that. Um, they didn't say that it would cure my grandmother's diabetes, but they've heard of stories of where it's happened, right? And you know, lawsuit distributors. Yeah, they distribute these lawsuits, bro. They distribute these papers, you know. So, but it's oh boy. I mean, they can do whatever the fuck they think they can do. This act protects me, so I don't really give a fuck. You know, I'm not lying. I'm not slandering. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just telling it like it is, and that on top of my First Amendment rights. So, you know,
Right.
so don't if you have been through an MLM and you think you can't talk about or speak, you have this to protect you. You have this. Well, I mean, you have your First Amendment rights, of course, right? But you have this to protect you. Okay, so don't let them convince you that you have no protections because you do. So let's continue here. Thank you, Gladys, for bringing that up.
Yeah, I wonder if some of these clauses came into effect after Pink Truth launched.
I'd love to test that, yeah.
Would too. Okay,
Pink Truth. I'm
let's
not
move
familiar
on
with
to the
Pink
next
Truth.
slide. Okay, so we're going to move on into that third category of clauses. These are the clauses that keep participants from suing. So when people do leave the MLM, not everybody follows Tracy's path. A lot of people go quietly. Why is that? We're going to get at some of the clauses and disclosures that influence people. So let's start, Doug, with mandatory arbitration agreements and class action waivers. What is the effect of those?
Well, to take arbitration, this is a clause that's very common in commercial agreements. It's very common for businessmen who are doing sort of a bargain for exchange to agree to an arbitration clause, which theoretically makes things quicker and easier to resolve without exposing all your dirty laundry in court. Because one of the things about arbitration is that it is secret. It is not public. It does not result in published decisions as court cases do. It is a way of keeping your ugly secrets confidential.
Under the rug, as it were.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the metaphor I was missing. The so they're common in commercial agreements, and that is one motivation for having this clause. But I think in the MLM context, the real motivation is to avoid class actions, because the one of the most effective ways that an MLM company can avoid lawsuits by distributors is by precluding class actions, because the typical distributor loss, I'll use that word typical, they may lose a few thousand or maybe even $10,000 or $20,000. That's not enough money to justify going to court.
I've seen people lose even six figures. I've seen that number before. Even $500,000, right? Well, I mean, which is six figures, but that that is that's crazy, you know.
It's necessary to have a class action where you group together a number of claims to make it economically viable to go forward. The companies know this, and they will do anything. Often in private litigation, the biggest fight is not on the merits. Everybody knows they're making deceptive claims or their pyramid scheme or whatever. The primary defense and the primary fight is over the enforceability of that arbitration clause. So that is a key feature in MLM, and we started seeing them decades ago, but it would be malpractice for an MLM lawyer not to include an arbitration clause in their agreements.
And the other piece of it that is so important is in fact that if it is an arbitration, how can prospective recruits know about these allegations at all?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got another quote here up on the screen. Other dispute resolution procedures that can require the participant to waive a jury trial.
Yeah.
And disclaim liability for indirect, consequential, special, or punitive or incidental damages. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm being told to speak up. So if once you, I mean, and again, a lot of these clauses are litigation tested, so they have been found enforceable. And for instance, the waiver of certain types of damages, essentially in this clause, the only damages that the person could recover would be perhaps the return of the products, the product refund, but almost any type of damage that you might suffer, you've waived. And believe it or not, courts enforce those clauses. It's not here, but in other types of clauses, you'll see a short statute of limitation. The statute of limitation for a tort claim in your state might be 3 years, but in the contract that you signed, it may say that you can't bring a claim after 1 year. Those clauses get enforced.
Yeah.
So it's only bound by the creativity of the lawyer drafting these contracts that limits the types of clauses that you're going to see that limit.
Which they could potentially hire some really good lawyers, right? And they could pay those lawyers a pretty good penny to write pretty much an ironclad kind of clause like this, right? And then write it as so that they can't ever talk about whatever. They can't ever bring any kind of class action or any kind of suit against them, right? This is so dangerous. It's also why they're getting kicked out of multiple countries around the world.
No, this is my question to you.
Mm.
Okay. Who do you think the MLM owner of a company is going to hire to make sure that they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's? Who do you think that they're going to hire? Not any lawyer. Just give it a thought. Who do you think they're going to hire?
No, oh, I got, I'm confused. What do you mean? Who were they good?
Yeah.
Like, other than a lawyer?
No, they're going to hire a lawyer.
Mhm.
What type of lawyer? Who do you think they're going to hire?
Oh, you're
To
talking
make
about
sure.
like a civil lawyer instead of a criminal lawyer?
No. No. You give up?
I do, yeah. I wave the white flag.
A lawyer that was previously working for the FTC. Who better than an FTC lawyer to
Mm,
make sure that they have everything in the contract?
right. Gotcha. Yeah,
There have been
That
some
makes a lot of
MLMs,
sense.
including Herbalife, that hired FTC people, like lawyers that
Mhm.
work for the FTC at some point of their lives.
Ooh, that's I mean it's a good move on their end, but holy shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's really stacking the playbook against the distributor, right? I mean, wow. Yeah. Mm. How much is one's soul, you know? How easy is it to buy someone's soul?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I guess when you don't have a soul, I guess it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, the only thing you care about is that that old that old George Washington, that old
Those Benjamins.
note, that old legal tender. That's not even currency, you know. But we're not going to get into the Federal Reserve right now. We're not going down that rabbit hole. not, not not now, especially since I've talked about that so many goddamn times. But if you guys don't know about your dollar, the currency we have is not actual currency. It never has. It never will be. So, anyways, do your due diligence there. But you know, how much can you buy someone's soul? Because I mean, to do that and know that you're screwing over someone else, hey, you've got to be a real piece of work. Real piece of work. Anyways, let's keep going.
Your ability to sue.
That's right. The private statute of limitations.
Yeah.
How would anybody know to look for that? How would
Yeah.
anybody even know to think that that could be an
Yeah.
issue? Okay, let's move to the next
Well,
slide.
no one except the MLM and lawyer who they're hiring to write all of these clauses, right? Because people who are jumping into this stuff, man, they don't know this. They're not legal people. They don't know, right? The only thing they're really focused on is finding somewhere to belong, you know, or trying to get out of a financial situation, or trying to just get into a better financial situation, right? We're not focused on this stuff, right? And much less know what it is that these things are actually saying. And these companies, they know that and they take advantage of it. Oof. Yikes.
Okay, so this is again in the category of things that keep people from suing. Income disclosure statements.
Of course.
So income disclosure statements are long, they're hard to dissect, and they do discourage people from suing MLM companies. All right, so lots of multi-level marketing companies publish income disclosure statements. The FTC about a year and a half ago analyzed 70 of them and found that they were very confusing and misleading. And what you're looking at here on the screen are some of the findings from that staff report as summarized in the FTC's release about it. So you can see that some of these tactics were found to be present. The first was emphasizing the high dollar amounts made by a relatively small number of MLM participants. The second one, leaving out or downplaying important facts, like the percentage of participants who made no money. Now, leaving out facts, leaving out things like the percentage of participants who made no money seems like a pretty significant math error. I mean, I learned that, you have to take account of the zeros in math. You don't get to ignore them. The third one here is presenting income data in potentially confusing ways. Certainly many ways that can be confusing, and statistics are generally confusing. Personally, I find math confusing more generally, but that's just me. And then the last one is ignoring expenses incurred by participants. Even though expenses can, and in some MLMs often do, outstrip income. So you look at these income disclosure statements and you look at how, if you read this report, what you come away with is how very difficult it is to understand exactly what's going on in any one of these disclosure statements. You don't know if they are counting all participants. You don't know if they are counting only what they call the active participants. And if they are not counting all of the participants, then what that means is that there's a whole bunch of people who are making no money whatsoever, and that's not being counted.
Losing
and that's
money.
not being taken into consideration. You're only seeing the potential successes. So that is deeply problematic for people. But when they look at these statistics, when they are face to face with this, it can be very compelling for people to think to themselves, oh, wow, they must have the data to prove this. And the impression that you get is different from whether the math can back it up. And that's the problem that we see with these statements, particularly when they are not uniform, which they are not uniform right now, and when people believe them. So that is the yeah.
There's also
Doug.
the issue of the context that these things are presented to people. It may be in a circumstance where they're not really given the opportunity to view them carefully or understand them or appreciate them. In addition to all the deceptive things that you've just outlined.
I think that's right. I think that is very right. But I also think that it is daunting to try to take apart a statistical analysis that's in print, especially when you don't have complete information about what's being included and what's being excluded, what assumptions are being made, and what is not being disclosed at all. Okay,
Can I
let's
say
move on to the
something?
next slide. All right.
No.
Yes. Yes. You brought me here because you want me to say something.
Go ahead.
So this is a thing. She mentioned a study from the FTC where I can share the link with you if you want to go over it. But the
Sure.
moment that I saw it, I was so freaking pissed off. So the FTC did went over income disclosure statements from different MLM companies, but you know what he didn't do? Why I was so fucking upset?
Didn't disclose it.
No, wait. Fucking FTC was such a pussy, because there's no other way of calling him. Was such a pussy that he blocked the names of the MLMs.
Bro, you redacted the names of the MLMs.
Exactly.
So
They redacted
so
the names of the
protecting the
MLMs.
MLMs.
I was so fucking pissed off when I saw that. So I was like,
Where have we seen that? Where have we seen, chat, where have we seen that? Where have we seen a specific entity who is supposedly fighting for victims and the people, and then they redact the perpetrators' names while doxing the victims? Where have we seen that? I don't know. Oh no, guys. Don't know. Go ahead, Gladys.
imagine John M. Taylor with his study. He put all the names of all the MLMs that he studied. He had the balls to say, hey, these are the MLMs and these are their numbers. But the fucking
Right.
FTC is a fucking pussy. Like, no. We're too scared of the MLMs. That's my opinion. That's what I think. They said we're too scared of the MLMs and that's why we're redacting them.
Well, they're not. They're not. They're definitely not scared of the MLMs.
Oh
That's for
no,
sure.
they're together in bed. They're just together in bed,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
big
pretty
time,
much worse.
big time. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it has to be right. Has to be. You know, there's just really no other way to put it. No really other way to explain it. Right. It's pretty. It's too convenient that they're just redacting all of these names. Right. So call it like you see it, man. Call it like you see it. Grow a pair of balls. Be a man, right? Or grow a pair of lady balls, right? And be a grown woman, right? Be an adult, right? And call it like it is. Call it like it is. You know? Oh, dude. Yeah, that really makes me angry. Make sure you drop that link in the chat so I can take a look at that and share with chat here.
I'm looking for it. Hold on. I think I found it.
Okay.
Let me just scroll. And the moment that I start seeing the redaction, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Oh yeah, this is it. I can see the redaction there. Fucking.
Couple seconds later, yeah, that's it.
Let me share your
Oh,
chat, and then
we're
you
gonna have
can
fun with
share it
this.
later.
Oh my god.
Um,
All right.
yeah, it's
All right.
ridiculous.
We're gonna check this out.
I mean, you can maybe get an idea who the people, I mean, who the MLMs are based on the names of the ranks. But why? Like, why redact? Why redact? It's such a pussy move.
Are you talking about the speakers here?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking about the FTC redacting
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
in the study who the MLMs are.
So, guys, this number 14.6 million Americans, that's not 14.6 anymore. Let's
No,
see. That number's a
no. I
lot
just wanna,
higher.
clear out that no, I don't have nothing against the speakers in the video. In fact, I have talked with Monica. We had a video call some time ago, and she's super nice.
Yeah. Well,
And I was
I
surprised, and I
imagine
was
these are good
surprised.
people.
I was surprised. I was like, "You really want to talk to me after I went so hard on the FTC?" She's like, "Yeah," because that was after my first presentation when I went against the FTC really hard, and she's like, "Yeah, we want to talk with you."
Yep.
So no,
There we go.
and Douglas Brooks, he's the man. He's like one of such a good person.
Hmm.
He's
They
a
seem like
very
really
strong
nice people.
supporter. Yeah, they're really nice people. He's a strong supporter of the anti-MLM movement. They both are.
It seems that way.
Hmm.
Someone's got to do their job, you know. I'm glad they're
Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing it. I'll stick with the bitching part about it, you know, where I'm just getting in front of a computer and a camera and just bitching about the whole thing. I'll stick with that one. All
Are
right,
you
so
seeing the redactions? Oh my God.
not just yet. Roughly 20 million Americans, 1 in 13 adults, or 7.7%. They have the 7.7% here, but that number is very wrong. Very, very wrong. So 20 million Americans. That's insane. All right, so Let us here we go. Right here. All these redactions. Jesus Christ. I mean, why? Why redact all of this? This doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Or hang on,
I
hang on.
know.
Let's see if we can fit. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Join blank and take advantage. Get taken advantage of. Income our way. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty messed up, Brian.
Yeah. This is why we hate the FTC. The FTC is supposed to be there for the consumer, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, we know by this right here that they're actually not. They're actually not. Right. There are two um entities that we hate. The FTC and the DSA. Definitely the DSA.
Oh yeah. Oh, I hate the DSA more than the FTC. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
just a little bit more.
I don't know. I don't think it was one of those I don't think this is one of those e-file situations where you could just copy and paste the redactions. So, oh no. No, I can tell you right now, no. Or you know what? We don't know until we try, right? Let's see.
Just in case people want to check that study, you can also share it in the description if you want.
Yeah,
Just
no.
copy paste, work on the redacted parts. Oh, I don't know. I
No.
haven't
No,
tried it.
it's not. No, it's not going to work like that. So, what he's referring to is one of the Epstein files that was released. The DOJ had made an oopsie, and instead of actually redacting it, they just put a marker over it, right? And because of that, people were able to copy and paste the unredacted information onto a separate page, and they were sharing that, right? That's what
Oh,
he's
got
referring
it.
to. I wish it was so, because then you know your boy would be talking about it, but I don't think that that is. Oh my god, dude. They did. We need them to keep messing up so that we can actually get the actual information. Over 200 days late. Over 200 days late of releasing those e-files, and they have millions more documents to be released, but we'll see if that happens. Anyways, another redaction here. How much can I earn by selling blank global products? Income redacted, of course. And fuck the FTC, bro. Fuck these guys sideways, man. I hate these people, dude.
I
Not all of
know,
them, of
it's
course, but I fucking hate the
disgusting.
FTC, man. Fuck
Yeah, not
everyone
all of
that's
them.
defending MLMs. Fuck everyone, dude. Soulless ghouls, man. I'm trying to keep my blood pressure under check here. So
Not doing a good job.
I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better than what I used to. Cause fuck, man.
That's true.
Oh my god,
That's true. You've been doing
guys,
a lot.
you should have seen
Oh,
me.
better.
You should have seen me when I was doing the video with Gladys over um the HB 162 bill. It was the hearing over bill 162 that was introduced by
Yeah.
Ross Levin, which we will get to hear in a little bit. But they were they were taking advantage of veterans, um, using the self, or I don't want to say self, but using the self unaliving rate, right, of veterans, in order to sell their bullshit, right, to appeal to
Mm-hmm.
the veterans, right, in order to
Yeah.
defend their multi-level marketing company, right, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
spit in the face to veterans, and just outright lying, right? So, and somehow they kidnapped a college kid, and, and they paid him like $50 to come and speak at this fucking hearing.
Oh no, that was a joke. That was
uh,
a joke.
yeah,
We
that was a
thought that
that was a joke. Yeah, we made
we
a
thought that's
joke.
what they did. We thought that's what they did.
We there was this uber young kid. I can guarantee college age came and spoke in
Just just read his cell phone. It's kind of like they just gave him a script. Just read this, bro.
no,
You wanna earn a
it's
hundred
like he
bucks?
showed up. It's like he showed up and read something straight from Chat GPT. He was like, "Hey, I approve of multi-level marketing companies, and I'm going to this hearing today. Can you write me up something in like 5 seconds in favor for MLMs?" You know, so
Yeah, we were joking about that.
yeah. I was joking about the. Well, I mean, both of us were joking, but I was joking about this college kid being kidnapped. You know. Anyways,
Yeah.
you know, had to throw some humor in there somewhere because my blood pressure was it was it was boiling. So it was, oh my god. I could have I could have shot a button off of my fucking forehead, the amount of pressure that was moving through my veins. Dude.
It was pretty bad. That presentation from that lady was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. Anyways, let's get on with it.
Right.
Mhm.
So Doug, in front of us here, are a whole bunch of disclaimers um, about what you're not relying on. And you're not relying on representations as to the financial results that you might achieve. Talk about that a little bit and about why that keeps people from asserting their rights.
Well, you've just gone through this disclosure statement that even with all its flaws, shows that a very tiny percentage of people succeed. Um, that, but of course, it also shows tremendous incomes being earned by a few people, and that may be the number that draws your attention. But none of that matters really, because this clause says you're not relying on it. And you are, if, and again, these are litigation tested clauses. Judges enforce them. Even if you didn't read the clause, you're going to be bound by it. And the fact that you were induced to join a company through an earnings claim, um, uh, uh, you may not even get to trial. A judge may order summary judgment based on this clause once he decides that this contract uh, with an independent contractor is enforceable. Um, uh, these are called integration clauses, meaning that the contract becomes the sole basis for the relationship between the party, and all of those understandings, all of those inducements that brought you to the party don't mean a thing. All that matters is what's in the contract.
And, just to piggyback on something you said earlier about franchise agreements, the same thing is true of business opportunity agreements. There are required disclosures. The law requires that people who are marketing franchises and business opportunities actually disclose certain information to prospective purchasers. And frequently, and this is true for both the BizOp rule, business opportunity rule, as well as the franchise rule, there's a prohibition in the rule that says you cannot contradict the statements, right? You cannot contradict one of your disclosures, and you can't make a false representation.
But they do that all the
Now,
time.
you know, query, does the BizOp rule apply to MLMs? It could potentially, and I think the FTC has sued some companies that are MLMs for violations of the BizOp rule, but for the most part, there are not. So can you talk a little bit about that and how what effect that has on people?
Well, certainly, the BizOp rule was amended or revised before it became finalized it initially was going to cover MLMs, and then it was revised to create an exemption, which left MLM is essentially the only type of business opportunity that is not subject to a disclosure rule. And you're absolutely right. With franchises and with BizOps that are subject to the rule, this type of a clause would not be enforceable, hopefully. Whereas there's no constraint on MLM companies including this type of a clause, despite the fact that they put out these disclosure statements. And as you point out, there's no uniformity, there's no standard. Every company is free to either provide them or not provide them, or provide them in whatever format they choose to, leave in or leave out whatever information they choose to. It's basically a way of protecting themselves, you know, in the hopes that when the regulators do come, they can waive this and say, yeah, we provided disclosures to our to the prospective distributors. Or if the distributor sues them, hey, you saw this and you saw that the chances were really low, and you went ahead and did it. So it is everything in the contract is designed with a view towards potential litigation, whether it's from the regulator or whether it's from the distributor.
Right. And I think the point you made earlier, which I think is such an important point, is that the people who are writing these agreements are lawyers who have been studying the law, studying the case law for a long time. And they know exactly what they need to put into these agreements. Okay, so let's go to our last slide here. All right, so as a summary here, I think these are some of the big takeaways that that I had from looking at these contracts. The first thing is, look, if you're a participant in an MLM, your rights in the business are defined by the contract, not the hype, not the representations that somebody told you, not somebody's experiences, not anything other than that contract, that 50 or 60 or 100-page contract. So that's very important. The next point for me is that MLMs hire lawyers to write contracts that protect their interests. That's what you're signing on to. They're not hiring lawyers to protect the interests of the people who are signing up. They're hiring lawyers to protect the company's interests. So that's worth some thought as well. The point that you made, Doug, earlier about a 2-page contract that can incorporate 50 plus pages of rules and policies is, it's so important. But the fact that the company can change those policies and frequently do to change compensation structures is something that, keeps people off balance and people need to be aware of. The last thing I will say is just, you hear a lot of people talking about, well, just sign the contract, sign online. It's so easy, it's so easy to click a box. It's so easy to sign up. It's not a formality. It's not a technicality. It's the thing that will define what your rights are. And, we talked a little bit about defining your rights with respect to this business, but Doug, you also mentioned what it does to you even after you're done with the business. The non-solicitation clauses, right? The non-compete clauses, all of those things are 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 problems for you potentially in the future. So if anybody tells you that that's a formality, that the contract is a formality, big red flag, big red flag.
Unfortunately, they're not asking you before they sign these things. I mean, that's what we're all faced with here is we have this, people recruiting into their warm market. What does that mean? It means their friends and their family. Who's going to read a contract when your cousin Harry is saying, that you've known since you were kids, saying this is a great opportunity. So you get into this, you sign this thing, and you think it's only $50 because you don't realize at the time all the required purchases that you're going to have to make in order to make any money out of this thing.
Yep.
So it's a problem that it's a perennial problem. It comes up all the time in litigation, and unfortunately, most of the time the contract is going to get enforced.
All right, well, there you have it from Doug Brooks himself. All right, do we have time for questions or are we way out of time? Okay, no time for questions. Thank you all.
Yep. So that was session 3. Let's see. So, biggest thing I would say to take away from that is the fact that they can just change the contract
Mm-hmm.
at any given time.
And they do.
And they do,
And they
yeah.
do.
And they do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that it would be personalized as well, because it's much more cost effective to throw money at a lawyer than it is to pay a settlement, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So they're absolutely going to do that by any means, right? So any means to shut the consultant up who is, yeah. And they use a lot of different tactics, right? Threatening, intimidation, a lot of things. This is why I always bring up TJ. TJ has been facing a lot of a lot of the things that we're talking about now: harassing, threatening, mocking, right? All kinds of shit. Unfortunately, but you know, um, I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is, right? And what really helps is public pressure, right? Public awareness. That's why I always beg you guys, essentially, right, to share all of this content that you see that's exposing these MLMs, because a lot of people don't know just how connected these MLMs are. I mean, they've taken over anywhere from uh, federal government to local government, right? I've even heard uh, mayors' children's or mayors' children involved in MLMs, right? I've seen some of that myself. I used to know someone who was an FBI agent and who was involved in MLMs, right? I mean, our President Trump, has been involved in MLMs for a very long time, right? So, you know, these things really need to be talked about, and I really want more content creators talking about this, and I want this to be more of a mainstream topic, because I mean, these MLMs, they have to go, right? And the only way we can ensure that they face some kind of accountability is through public awareness. So That's where I, Gladys, TJ, and everyone that talks about MLMs are going to rely heavily on you guys to push this content out, right? So we got to break the algorithm, and we got to really make this thing go viral, right? This topic, right? It doesn't have to be my content per se, but it has to be this content, right? So, whatever whatever you're talking about with friends, family, uh, husband, wife, girlfriend, boy, whatever, you know, hey, do you know about this? You know, have you heard about, this content creator who talks about this? Have you seen any of their live streams, their videos, shorts videos, whatever? And, just push this into the mainstream. Get them talking about um the reality of these MLMs, right? So I want to keep that number, and that 20 million is, I mean, one is way too much, right? But 20 million, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want that number to keep going, right? I want that number to stay exactly where it's at, you know.
Or go down.
Well, it's not going to go down because people can't just unexperience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So,
I just wanna send a shout out to Monica and to Doc Brooks. For the people that don't know, Doc Brooks is the lawyer that appears in the Herbalife documentary, Betting on Zero. He's the one who went against Herbalife and won the $200 million.
nice. Right on.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
That's good. That's good. Just wish we could bankrupt all of these MLMs, right? But I don't think that's really going to do much of anything because we have to go after the source of the problem, and the source of the problem is corruption and human greed, right? So I think public pressure is probably going to be the best for that, right? If everybody knows what you did, right, and they hold you accountable, then you know, uh, chances are you're probably not going to do it because people are going to be
Oh.
watching you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, but another thing I would say probably right under what we just talked about was um, please make sure that you are reading everything, right? Uh, and this goes for me too. I'm telling myself this as well. Don't let someone just convince you to just to sign something, right? Don't let someone sell you on some BS fantasy land kind of stuff. You know, actually take a look at what this transaction is going to be, if it's really going to benefit you or not, right? And take a look at even the negative perspective, right? Because a lot of times, most of the times, if not all the times, what they'll do is with these MLMs when they're recruiting people, they will discourage everybody into or from looking into the uh, negative uh, views, right? So, ensure that you're looking at every single thing that you can. That way, hey, is this going to be a positive or negative for me, right? So, yeah, I'd say those are probably the biggest things to. Well, and then there's also the uh, the Consumer Review Fairness Act as well. 3 times business owner. I read everything before agreeing or signing. Uh, if there's no contract, I write one up. Never buy oil. Yes, absolutely. You never want to do anything by oral. You never want to do anything by that. right? You want to make sure you have that shit in writing, right? And
There was this, I'm sorry.
and you want to make sure that what you have in writing is absolutely concrete, right? Words do matter very much in legalese. So make sure that whatever you have is ironclad in protecting you. So go ahead, Gladys.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I heard, I just wanna um grab one of his quotes. I think his name is Chris Shelton. He was in Scientology and he now speaks out about cults. He has a YouTube channel. And one of the quotes that he said, he has talked about multi-level marketing a few times. And one of the things that he said was, if you're going to start a business, you owe it to yourself to do your research because it's something that is going to be affecting you, affecting your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
So you owe it to yourself
Well,
so that
and
you don't rush into decisions, you know?
mhm. Well, and everyone that is depending on you as well, right?
Yeah,
You know, so
right.
it's always good to take a look into that because you want to know, is it going to even be feasible to do something like this, right?
I'm sorry,
So
I was reading Garden Scott.
I was just about to say, guard it, lock in, bro. Lock in, man. Get your head out of the
Shout,
gutters, bro.
shout out to Garden's wife.
Oh man. Okay, well, you know, the third biggest thing to take away from this is Garden's wife is the G. She's definitely holding down the fort over there. So yeah. Yeah, shout out to Garden's wife. She is the hero of our time.
Oh my god,
Really checking those
that's hilarious.
clauses, you know, and uh yeah, she's writing stuff up, and yeah, she's doing stuff. She's doing stuff both written and oral. So you know, so shout out to her. Oh man. All right, so let's check out this bill. All right, this is the last thing. That's one of the last things that we're going to be doing. All right. So this is House Bill 162. All right. This was introduced by Representative Ross Levin, and she actually was another person who spoke at the conference, right? And let's see. So the status of it so far is in lieu, um, and let's see. Has not been considered in committee. The substitute takes place of the original bill. Okay. If original bill has been considered in committee, the substitute has been signed. Okay. All right, so it's still in lieu and it's been substituted. So that's awesome. Cool. So let's see. An act to amend Title VI of the Delaware Code relating to multi-level distribution companies. I hate how they substituted distribution for marketing, but whatever. All right, so this act defines a multi-level distribution company, multi-level marketing program for purposes of this subchapter. It sets forth mandatory disclosures that must be made by a multi-level distribution company and to any potential purchaser that discloses details about the company, sometimes based on certain representations that the company makes. It sets forth that a multi-level distribution company may not require a participant in its marketing program to buy a good or service or pay any other consideration to participate in the marketing program unless it agrees to repurchase goods under certain conditions. Okay. Permits a civil penalty to be imposed for violations of the required disclosures. It provides a private right of action for violation of the repurchase requirement, including treble damages, attorney's fees, and costs to be awarded for a prevailing plaintiff. Yes. So this is a bill that is going to be really good for consumers, right? This would, unfortunately, this bill did go a little bit harder on multi-level marketing companies, but they are continuously trying to appease the DSA, the Direct Sellers Association, right? And well, when you have ghouls that run the DSA, right, and who represent these leeches of society known as multi-level marketing companies, well, then you have a battleground for a a representative here because she has been. I mean, they've been setting goalpost, moving that goalpost, setting that goalpost, moving it, setting another one, right? So they're really just trying to uh, stop this bill altogether, because obviously they don't want this kind of business to be exposed, right? But you know this is going to be really, really good for the people. So I would absolutely call your representatives, right? And have them vote in favor of this, or at least be in support of the bill. Okay. Now this is the House bill within the state, if I remember correctly. So make sure those of you who are in Delaware try to see if you can get this passed. If we can get this passed in Delaware, we can get it passed in all 50 states, which would be phenomenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it would start
Yes.
to this would be a snowball effect for multi-level marketing
Mm-hmm.
companies, right?
Yep.
This is why awareness is so, I mean, it's monumental, right? So yeah.
That's why the DSA is going so strong against this bill, which um isn't it ironic that if it's a bill that it's going to protect the consumer, you would think that the DSA would be in favor of, right? To
Hmm.
protect the consumer.
You would think, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would think that the DSA would care about protecting consumers that they are directly selling to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Not really, because they're not representing the consumer, they're representing the company.
The MLMs, yeah, I know.
And some of the associate and some of the associates are MLMs themselves. So, conflict of interest perhaps perhaps, So, and one of those associates, of course, Amway, um, I didn't say that. So, multi-level distributors encompass MLMs and other multi-level. Um, well, I mean, what do you mean? Like they're just they're all one and the same. Okay. Okay. You're talking about the distributors make up the MLMs because they're the ones who are buying into the companies. Then yes. Yes. Yeah, they do. However, right, when if the distributors wake up to what's actually happening to them, then that's all done away with, right? All these MLMs, they die off, which is what we want to happen, right? We want these MLMs to go away because they're vampiristic parasites, right? Oh, but for legal term, that's why. Oh, okay, okay, got you. Um, what? Not necessarily. No. It. I mean, you could definitely argue that federal laws are being broken, right? Say fraud. You know. So I would include criminal proceedings as on top of civil, right? For these MLMs, CEOs of these MLMs, right? Top leadership
Mm-hmm.
of these MLMs. I would absolutely push for criminal charges. If I remember
Yes.
correctly, the original bill did have criminal proceedings, correct?
Um, I don't remember that. Um,
I wanna say that the original bill did have, or at least mention something like that from Ross. I want to say I remember Ross
I don't
Levin talking
remember
about that. I could be wrong. I
because
could be wrong, but
because one of the things that it had that I was very upset about was the what do they call it? The
reparations.
no. I confuse two terms. One of them is the cooling off period, and the other one is another one that it's similar. So the thing is that this this part of the bill not allow the um um people to sign any contract until 7 days. So if somebody pitched the MLM opportunity today,
Are you talking about a grace
you
period?
had, yeah, it was pretty much like a grace period. So you
Hmm.
had 7 days where you can think about it. They will give you all the documents. They were not supposed to contact you or something like that to try to manipulate you one way or the other, right? So
Yeah.
we're given like 10 days with the full information, documents, disclosures, 7 days for you to really think if you really want to sign it. And you will sign the contract until the 7 days pass, which I thought that was great because the majority of people, they wouldn't sign because what a lot of MLM companies do is that they put pressure to sign quickly. And that is the biggest red flag of all.
Right.
Most of the people that scam, that's what they do.
Hmm.
They tell you to don't think about it. You just go for it. Just jump head first.
Yeah.
Fucking terms.
Yeah. So it's like
So,
it's like the ring, but the the woman that's crawling out of the well and through your TV screen is coming to talk to you about how good your shoes look, right? Um,
so that bill, so
and,
that
and a
bill
second
had
stream of
that.
income.
So that bill had that, and I thought that was really good because I honestly don't think that people will buy or sign anything after they saw everything for 7 days. 7 days they can Google, they can check Reddit, they can check YouTube, and they can learn about how bad these MLM companies are, and they will be like, "I'm out. I'm
Hmm.
not signing that contract after the 7 days are over."
Yep. Yep.
But of course, the DSA was like, "No, no, 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 no. That is gonna be harmful for us." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's gonna be harmful for Emily and Sensi. You know. No, it's too good for the consumer. That's given them it's giving too many rights to the consumer. We want to keep it at zero. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
so we're gonna go ahead and shift the goalpost another football field. So yeah, but it's good. I mean, I think this is at least a start, right? So we don't want this to sit on the
Mhm.
shelf. We want this to move forward, right? So
Oh
again, for those
yeah.
of you who are in Delaware, please make sure you're calling your representatives. Please, Senator Hansen. Senator, not Chris Hansen, but Senator Hansen. Um, settle down, Gladys.
Stop it.
But yeah, so there are additional sponsors and there are a bunch of co-sponsors too, right? So make sure you're calling. I'll be sure to call these guys as well, talk with them, and see if we can get this pushed, right? Because we want this pushed. We want all available eyes that we can get on this, on it. All right. This is why we got to push this mainstream because, again, 20 million people, 20 million people affected by MLMs, right? People's lives have been destroyed by this. Relationships of,
Mhm.
romantic, familial, friendships have been destroyed because of MLMs. All right. So if we want things to change, we got to work to change it, right? So, well, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. I think. Let's see. Which one should we watch for next time?
The one that had good tea, honestly, was the Pink Truth. And for the people that don't know what Pink Truth is a website
Which session was
um
that?
that exposes I'm not sure. I didn't I think it was the top. I don't know. I don't remember, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
So Pink Truth is a website that exposes the truth about Mary Kay and focuses on Mary Kay. And what I like about Pink Truth is they have a lot of good articles, a lot of good information. And she has a Spanish section, which I appreciate a lot. And when I saw that she was gonna be one of the speakers, I was so excited, but I was working on that day, so I couldn't hear her presentation. So I heard it this weekend, and I was like, "Oh my God, this lady, she's awesome. She's such a badass woman. I swear."
Yeah, we need a lot of badass people stand up, talk about what needs to be do what needs to be done, talk about what needs to be talked about. You know.
And something that I didn't know that the Pink Truth website is gonna be 20 years old. Imagine that it was way before the anti-MLM movement arrived. So
Wow.
she was already doing that.
Shout out to her, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. All right. Well,
Yeah, I think you're gonna enjoy her presentation. She's such a badass.
that sounds. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see if we can probably do that
Yeah.
for Monday as well.
Okay.
So
I'm down.
let's go. Well, Gladys, thanks so much for coming on again. Uh, yeah, you make these things a lot more bearable. Especially with all the deets that you got on this stuff, and you personally going and speaking at these events too. It really means a lot that you're sticking up for people like me who have been victims of these parasites. So it really means a lot. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be here and talk shit about MLMs.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. Perfect way to put it. So, all right, guys. Well, that's gonna go ahead and wrap things up today. Be sure before you head on out to hit that like button. All right, share this as well. That way, other people are seeing this information, and especially those who have no idea what MLMs are. So, uh, appreciate you guys. Thank you, Garden, for showing up, man. Thank you. I've said this quite a few times. You showed up. You showed up to my political stuff. You showed up to my gaming stuff. You showed up to my art stuff. I mean, you showed up to almost every single live stream that I've done, and I really appreciate you, man. I really do. You know, having
Shout
having
out.
having uh, a friend pop into all of these, you know, even if it's not your content, means so much, right? And that's the kind of community I'm looking for, right? To have people like you who care about the content that I and Gladys do, because we see that it's important, and not just the entertainment side of things, but the actual stuff that really affects people's lives, right? So, dub to Gladys, yes. Dub to Guard It, and especially dub to Guard It's wife. She's performing a service that is really important to society, you know. So, so,
Stop it. I just
so
want to say thank you, Gardner, for being here and just commenting, giving your 2 cents along the way. Very much
yeah,
appreciated.
yeah. You're giving a lot of insight that you know really uh there is really giving that much more perspective than just mine, or especially coming from a business side, you know. um so, you know, as someone who's been involved in business myself, uh, not really anything successful, of course, right? Hopefully one day it will, you know, but we'll see with this economy. But um
Well, YouTube is a business.
that's right. YouTube is a business. I don't really have anyone buying my merch or really sending me any supers or anything like that, so can't really say it's a business, right? Um,
But eventually you're gonna have your own merch.
True. Well, I mean, I already do. I just haven't really personalized it just yet. Um,
Okay.
but anyways, yeah. So it really means a lot to me that you guys are popping in here, right? And you are, you know, participating in something that I and many other people deem important, right? So I started my YouTube channel on the politics and stuff like that, and I added gaming and stuff like that to later stuff, and you know, I'm still trying to balance out the two, but it really means a lot that people pop in. You can check VRNE self. I've already done VRNE. It doesn't help for shit. It doesn't. So I've had people who have tried VRNE and they've had success with it, but that all that there's so much that really depends on you know there's so much that depends if you're gonna have success or not when it comes to VRNE, and I just wasn't one of those who had a really good experience, and I'm not really alone in that, right? So good call on adding in gaming. It's well, I that's one of the reasons why I did add it in there. You know, it's a good break for me because you know I like to take a break from all of the politics and stuff like that. I mean, you know, I post shorts all the time. You know, political and gaming and whatnot. You know, um, so it's just all about building community, man, and trying to see you know what kind of uh, service we can do to ourselves to recharge, right? Because it's a crazy world out there, man. It really is, and you know, not really distracting us, but something to recharge us while we get back or before we get back into things is it really helps. It really does. So that and it offsets the it offsets the getting suppressed too, you know. So, but anyways, we've been growing. We've been growing. As we were on the live tonight, we just hit 1.6K subscribers, family members here on the channel. So we're almost there to 2K, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how many people are going to pop in, so that you're not so lonely, Garnet.
You hear that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Hopefully, crazy doesn't become an understatement. You know as well as I do, it probably is, especially since we've been talking about the National Defense Authorization Act for 2027 and how that would merge the U.S. military with our greatest ally, right? And how dangerous that would be. Um, you know, crazy would be an understatement. So we'll just have to wait and see, and prepare if we have to. Don't want that to happen. Don't want anything crazy to happen, of course, but you never know. So, but it means a lot that you guys are, popping in when I would say I need you guys most, and many people need you guys most. But just so that we're not talking in circles, um, tomorrow I'm going to do another reaction stream, and it's going to be over a game, right? It's going to be over the newest Halo game. It's going to be a reaction to a video that someone did over the Halo campaign Evolved. I've been meaning to talk about it for a little bit now, and I'd much rather do a reaction live with you guys instead of doing a video. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. So, Timu. Oh, bro. I mean, you said it. You said it right there, bro. Timu Halo. 100%, dude. Anyways, I'll see you guys then, 6 p.m. as always. And yeah, so again, thanks, Gladys. You are a fucking rock star for coming on, and hanging out with me and chat here, and talking about Garnet's wife, um, and going and speaking at these events too. So you're dope.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So you guys have a phenomenal night. I love you all, and I will see you guys tomorrow.